Hi, everybody. Welcome to another advanced class at SEDA College Online, live with me, your teacher, Lydia. I'm your friendly American teacher here at SEDA College Online Live. We have one other. His name's Austin. He's super cool. You can check him out at the intermediate level. And I'm here to tell you all about what we're going to do today in advanced class. So, yesterday we started reading the article 10 Tips for Improving Your Public Speaking Skills with this lovely lady here from the Harvard Extension School. Today we're going to continue on with those tips. However, we're going to focus on listening during this lesson and less on reading than we did yesterday. So we're improving 2 skills in the last 2 days, as well as learning and practicing new vocabulary. As usual, I want to remind everybody to make sure you have a pen and a highlighter just in case you want to make those important words pop out. And your notebook, as always, because you can see all your progress and track all of your learning in your fantastic notebook. So make sure that you have those things around you now. And if you're not live with us, take a moment to pause the video and get those things together before you continue on, okay? So, let's just take a note of how we're doing here. Write down the date in our notebook so we know what date it is, because that is super important. And get going. All right, so friends, let us begin. All right, so public speaking, that's what this is all about. Yesterday we talked about how public speaking can make people very, very nervous and uncomfortable. Even if a person knows a subject really well and they've done a lot of research and studying and they're interested in it, the thought, even just the thought of going in front of other people and talking about it can make them extremely nervous. As a teacher, as a administrator, as a business person, as somebody in the working world, and even in my university and school days, I remember classmates getting super nervous. I remember myself getting nervous doing presentations, but I want to remind everybody that nobody is perfect. It doesn't matter if it's in your language or a second language or a third language, whatever. Nobody's perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about being you and getting your message across the best way you can and making that connection with your audience. So don't strive for perfection. When I say strive for, I mean work towards. Don't work towards perfection because it doesn't exist, my friends. Try to be your best. Do the best you can do because that's what it's all about in life. And if you do your best, that is enough, and you should be proud. Just like when you come here to SEDA College Online Live and you study with us. That is super awesome, and that is enough, my friends. Okay, so let me read this little description that I've put here for you, okay? All right. In the second half of this lesson, we will continue with our 10 tips through a combination of listening practice and gap fill activities to continue to improve our listening and vocabulary skills while learning about public speaking. Alrighty. So, tip number 6, because remember we did the first 5 already, and actually I'm going to take a moment to review the first 5 in case you were not with us. So, number 1, and I'll go back so as not to distract you. Number 1 tip was nervousness is normal. And I just talked about that, right? Being nervous is normal. Practice and prepare. Number 2, know your audience. Your speech is about them and not you. Number 3, organize your material in the most effective manner to attain your purpose. So have the structure match the function. Number 4, watch for feedback and adapt to it. So you can see the body language of your audience. Make sure you adjust and adapt your speaking, your enthusiasm, your message to fit what the audience is giving you in terms of feedback, because they do give you feedback even if it's not verbal. Number 5, let your personality come through. Don't try to be like somebody else, just be you and talk the way you talk, and make sure you are giving the audience you as well as what they need to understand the message. That's super important. Okay, let's go on to number 6. Use humor, tell stories, and use effective language. Take a moment to think about that, guys. Do you think that's true? Have you ever watched a TED Talk? If you haven't, I suggest you do it after this lesson or sometime after this lesson, because a TED Talk will give you an example of powerful public speaking. Some TED Talk lecturers are better than others, but most of them are at a very high level. And they often use humor, tell stories, and use the language that's most effective. They try to be brief, which is short or quick, and use language that really expresses what they're trying to say in as few words as possible. So I've got some directions for you here. Please listen carefully as I read the description of tip number 6 and fill in the missing words. After, we will identify and define any new vocabulary. Okay? Are you ready? All right. I'm going to read it one time, okay, with no information. I'll read it a second time, and you will have the script with missing words that you need to fill in. Okay? Are you ready? Take notes both times. Probably a good idea. All right. Number 6, use humor, tell stories, and use effective language. Inject a funny anecdote in your presentation, and you will certainly grab your audience's attention. Audiences generally like a personal touch in a speech. A story can provide that. Okay. So now you have the script. I will read one more time. Fill in the missing words. Inject a funny anecdote in your presentation, and you will certainly grab your audience's attention. Audiences generally like a personal touch in a speech. A story can provide that. Okay, so I'm going to give you the opportunity to try to come up with the missing words and rack your brains. I'll give you 1 minute and 30 seconds to put in the missing words. Any longer and you're just going to be torturing yourself. We don't want that. Listen, just do your best. That's enough. Some chilled jazz. Great, everybody. Woo! Super. First activity, and you probably nailed it just by trying. That's enough. You win. Okay. Woo! There it is. Maybe you knew the word and you just didn't know how to spell it. So now you can see both how to spell it and practice how to pronounce it. So the first missing word is, that's right, inject. Inject. So that's like insert or put in. That's what that means. Put in a funny anecdote or add in. Insert a funny anecdote in your presentation. Presentation, speech, oral presentation, same thing. And you will certainly here means like definitely. Grab your audience's attention. Audiences generally like a good reading, personal touch in a speech, something that makes it unique. A story can provide that, give. Wonderful. Guys, you are doing fantastic. Remember to screenshot this if you need to, so you can, I know you're writing notes, but maybe you can't keep up quite quickly enough, so you might need to screenshot it to look at it again later and fill in the rest of your notes. All right, so now you're going to choose 2 of these new words or phrases and use them in your own original sentence. You're going to have 2 minutes. Put them back up here for you in context to help you remember how to use them. And we're putting 2 minutes on the clock, my friends. Go for it. Okay, peeps. 30 seconds. Can't wait to see your new sentences. Inject, presentation, certainly, personal touch, provide. Okay, super. All right. Tip number 7. Don't read unless you have to. Work from an outline. So I try not to read off of things as often as possible. However, in this case, you're doing listening practice, so I need to get the words specifically correct. So I'm reading off a piece of paper. Please listen carefully as I read the description of tip 7 and fill in the missing words. After, we will identify and define any new vocabulary. Okay? So, Again, I will allow you to just listen the first time. If you want to, a power listening technique is to close your eyes when you listen to more highly focus your senses on your sense of hearing. If you remove the visual sense, there's less distraction. So maybe this first time I read, you want to close your eyes and try some power listening. Who knows? It might work really well for you. Okay, let's go. First time around. Tip number 7. Don't read unless you have to. Work from an outline. Reading from a script or slide fractures the interpersonal connection. By maintaining eye contact with the audience, you keep the focus on yourself and your message. A brief outline can serve to jog your memory and keep you on task. All right, open your eyes if you tried some power listening. Here is the script with missing words, and I will read it one more time. Reading from a script or slide fractures the interpersonal connection. By maintaining eye contact with the audience, you keep the focus on yourself and your message. A brief outline can serve to jog your memory and keep you on task. Okay. I'm going to read it one more time, give you another opportunity to get words you didn't know, and then we're going to go over the words. Okay. Reading from a script or slide fractures the interpersonal connection. By maintaining eye contact with the audience, you keep the focus on yourself and your message. A brief outline can serve to jog your memory and keep you on task. Now, remember what I said before. It's totally cool and totally okay if you don't know how to spell something. Just write down whatever you can. All right? You cool? Okay. I'm going to reveal the answers this time quickly. Read from a script. Script is the first missing word, and that's like everything written down for you, word for word. Not general ideas, not keywords, every single individual word. Or the slide, which is the PowerPoint, fractures, breaks the interpersonal between people connection. By maintaining or continuing to support eye contact with the audience, you keep the focus on yourself, attention on you, and your message. A brief outline, a short outline. An outline means keywords and ideas. No deeper description. So an outline would be just the tip and the first sentence. Don't read unless you have to. Work from an outline. That would mean we would have nothing of this, just this, and I would describe it to you from what I can remember, not worrying about the specific words. All right. A brief outline can serve to jog your memory. So think of jog as like a quick run, right? Between walk and run is jog. Sometimes if you're not feeling well, or you're unhappy, or you can't be creative, you might have a creative block or stop. You go for a run or a jog, and it like gives you an idea. It makes the idea form and allows you that energy to come back. So to jog your memory is like that little kick, that little something you need to make, to trigger or create that memory and keep you on task. So if you can't remember something, you kind of give yourself that little kick, write yourself a brief outline. When you're up in front, you have your cards or whatever, and you see that keyword, and then you remember exactly what you need to say. It kicks you in the butt and helps you remember, jogs your memory. keep you on task, is keep you focused on the activity or thing that you need to do, the task. All right, guys, if you got 3 of those, guess what? You're a winner, because even trying is enough. So if you got more than nothing, you're doing fantastic. If you didn't get any and you're just trying your best to listen and practice your listening, you're doing super too. Here is your daily reminder that being here and studying with us makes you a superhero. You're doing great for you. And remember that you need to believe in yourself. So being super critical or hard on yourself doesn't help at all and is never useful. So stop that. Be your own best friend and your own #1 fan. Woo! Teacher's feeling sore throat. Okay, let's move on to the next. Tip number 8. Use your voice and hands effectively. So this is all about gestures. I'm going to read 2 times. After the second time, I'll give you time to remember the missing words, okay? Use your voice and hands effectively. Omit nervous gestures. Nonverbal communication carries most of the message. Good delivery does not call attention to itself, but instead conveys the speaker's ideas clearly and without distraction. Okay, fantastic. So now you have your script. I'll read it one more time, and then I'm going to give you 1 minute to complete it. Nonverbal communication carries most of the message. Good delivery does not call attention to itself, but instead conveys the speaker's ideas clearly and without distraction. Okay, give you that 1 minute. Fill in the missing words. And then we'll check together. Go. Guys, you're doing awesome. Okay, that's the timer. We are finished with this. Let me go over it with you. Nonverbal, so not speaking. Communication carries most of the message. So all the body language is super important in how people receive your message. Good delivery, so delivering, giving the message well, good delivery, does not call attention to itself, but instead conveys or delivers, gives the speaker's ideas clearly and without distraction, with nothing to take the attention away. Okay? So, let's take 1 minute, choose a new word. It could be the words I identified, could be different words. Okay? So sometimes I'm choosing words like itself, pronouns and things to help you think about the language differently and see what you pick up on when you're listening to me, okay? So choose any of the words that are new to you and write 1 new original sentence. I'm going to give you 1 more minute to do it, okay? You can do this, guys. This is super good practice for you. Think about it like exercise. We're going to do our English exercises. Can't wait to check out your sentences. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Tip number 9. Grab attention at the beginning and close with a dynamic end. Please listen carefully as I read the description of tip 9 and take a minute to fill in the missing words. After, we will identify and define any new vocabulary. This time I'm giving you the script and I'm going to read it 2 times, but not give you extra time to figure out the missing words, okay? Each time we're making it a little more challenging for you. Perfect. Okay. Grab attention at the beginning and close with a dynamic end. Do you enjoy hearing a speech start with, "Today I'm going to talk to you about"? Most people don't. Instead, use a startling statistic, an interesting anecdote, or concise quotation. Conclude your speech with a summary and a strong statement that your audience is sure to remember. Okay, that was time 1. Take a pause, and then I'll read it again. You got this. Okay, reading number 2. Do you enjoy hearing a speech start with, "Today I'm going to talk to you about"? Most people don't. Instead, use a startling statistic, an interesting anecdote, or concise quotation. Conclude your speech with a summary and a strong statement that your audience is sure to remember. Okay. How many words did you get? Remember, just trying is enough. That's perfect. See how you do each time, though. Maybe you can have a little competition with yourself. Do you enjoy hearing a speech start with, "Today I'm going to talk to you about"? Most people don't. Instead, use a startling statistic. Startling is like surprising. Statistic is usually a number, right? An interesting anecdote, little story, or concise, short and to the point. That's concise, short and to the point quotation. Conclude your speech with a summary and a strong statement that your audience is sure to remember. So concise is probably a new word for you. That means short, to the point, not using extra words just to sound smart, only what is necessary. Startling, surprising. Summary is like telling it again what the main point is. Or if you watch a movie, you could summarize it, write a summary about the movie, something shorter that describes it. Statement is a fact, opinion, sentence, something like a strong idea, like the sky is blue. That's a statement. Is that a strong statement? Not really, because most people would agree with that. But I could say something slightly controversial, and that could be a statement. Or something surprising, and that's a statement. Remember? Opposite of forget, right? Great. Okay, tip number 10. Oh my God. We made it. Awesome. Okay. Please listen carefully as I read the description of tip 10, it should say, and take a minute to guess the meaning of these new words. Direct connection, sparingly, clarify, enhance, capture, maintain. Whoops. Okay, so direct connection, sparingly, clarify, enhance, capture, and maintain. I'm going to read the description, and I want you to listen specifically for these key words and try to understand what they mean by the context they are in. I will read this 2 times, and I will give you 3 minutes to find synonyms. Number 10, use audiovisual aids wisely. So use them smartly or wisely, with intelligence. Too many can break the direct connection to the audience. So too many pictures or movies or audio clips can break the direct connection to the audience. So use them sparingly. They should enhance or clarify your content, or capture and maintain your audience's attention. All right, I'll read one more time. Too many can break the direct connection to the audience, so use them sparingly. They should enhance or clarify your content, or capture and maintain your audience's attention. All right, so I'll give you 3 minutes to try to find a synonym for those words, to understand what they mean. Then I will reveal the definitions or synonyms. You're doing fantastic, guys. Give me your feedback in the comments if you like doing listening type exercises. Also, tell me if you're familiar with the British and Australian or Irish accents, because if you're not, we can start using some audio clips using those accents to help improve your listening skills to all speakers of English. You're doing great, everybody. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Okay, let's check this out. Check it out. All right. So direct connection, one-to-one connection, no middleman, nothing in the middle stopping you from getting to the end point. 2 points, end-to-end, one-to-one, direct connection. Sparingly means infrequently, not often. So you could say, it's important to eat sugar sparingly. Clarify. Make clearer and easier to understand. This is a wonderful word that's very important to use in a business context. It makes you sound very professional. Enhance, also a word that makes you sound professional. It means to make better than before. I'm trying to enhance your knowledge of English. Capture, take hostage or take control of. I want to capture your attention. And maintain, perpetuate, continue in the same way. I want to maintain this great learning connection we have through all the videos that I create. Okay? So guys, I'm always striving to and working to make my videos as great as I can for you. Challenge you to use your skills in a way that you haven't before. If you turn on a video and you see a lot of words like, oh my God, I have to read so much, that's because teacher knows you need to practice reading, so she's trying to help you, okay? If you have any tips or ideas for me or things that you want to tell me in terms of feedback, leave it in the comments in the live. I would love to hear from you. Anything that you really need help with, I want to help you with it, okay? So great work, everybody. I don't want to push you to write any more sentences today. I think you've done some awesome work. So I just want to ask you a couple of questions. We've covered all 10 tips. Which tips were new for you? Which did you find the most useful? Which words did you have trouble understanding when you were listening? So I'm going to give just a minute for you to answer those questions because this feedback is important to me and important to continue with this wonderful learning experience for you. So 1 minute and 30 seconds. Tell me in the comments what you think. Also, in this smaller box, this is some reflection for you. Maybe write this in your notebook if you're watching at home at a different time. What new words have you learned today? Did you write them down? Make sure you did. Remember, you can rewatch this video anytime at SEDAcollegeonline.com. It's always great to keep track of the new things you've learned, so you can feel proud. You know, if you learned 20 new words today, all the words were new for you, fantastic. If you learned 10 new words today, great. You're doing awesome. If you learned 5, you're still awesome. Because learning every day is what it's all about, even for me, even for your teacher. Always learning. Never stop learning. Okay. So, this is the writer of the article. Her name is Marjorie North, and she is a consultant, meaning she talks to and gives advice to political candidates, physicians, lawyers, and runs a private practice specializing in public speaking and executive communication skills. So we are getting advice from somebody who gives advice to the top professionals, which is super cool. And everybody, I think, can learn something new and take away from these tips. I hope you had a moment, if you're live with me, just tell me in the comments what you thought, which tips were new for you, which ones you found the most useful, which words you had trouble understanding when you were listening, and I hope you enjoyed our lesson. So thank you so much again for joining me. I really appreciate your time and effort. I'm Teacher Lydia. I really appreciate you guys, and can't wait to see you again very, very soon. Peace